Hello there, everyone. This is Jake Manning. Before we jump into this episode of How Did This Get Booked, I just want to let you know that this episode is sponsored by the High Spots Wrestling Network, which is a streaming service presented by HighSpots.com. It's got over 2,000 hours of professional wrestling. What? Are you kidding me? That's a lot of hours of professional wrestling, and it all ranges from professional wrestling from Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, WXW out of Germany, as well as a lot of High Spots originals and shoot interviews and IWA Mid-South and CZW and women's wrestling all over the board. We got all kinds of great and quality entertainment available on the High Spots Wrestling Network. But also, too, the reason why they are a sponsor is because I don't know if most of you saw, I posted this Soul City Wrestling show on my YouTube page for about a week now. It's taken down right now by the time this podcast is out. So if you didn't get to see it on my YouTube page, you might not be able to get to see the professional wrestling show that we're discussing. But that's where the High Spots Wrestling Network comes in. Soul City Wrestling is available on the High Spots Wrestling Network. And because of that, and because they're a sponsor, they're giving out a promo code to get a free month of professional wrestling on the High Spots Wrestling Network. They're giving us a promo code. So if you missed out on watching the Soul City Wrestling show on my YouTube page, or if you weren't already a member and you didn't get to see the Universal Wrestling Council with two L's show that we discussed in the last program, well, guess what? Both of those shows are available on the High Spots Wrestling Network, and you can see them for free, as well as the other 2,000 hours for over a month at the High Spots Wrestling Network, and they're giving us a promo code that I want to give to you guys right now. Basically, the promo code that you can type in to get a free month of the High Spots Wrestling Network is this. It is HDTGB. Basically, the initials of How Did This Get Booked. But all caps, no periods in between. Once again, the promo code is HDTGB. You put in that promo code, you will get a free month of professional wrestling streaming professional wrestling, quality streaming professional wrestling. We got stuff that's in HD 720, as well as the highest possible quality that we could possibly put up some of the older shows as well, as long as some classic wrestling. And just, I could go on and on about how much stuff is on the High Spots Wrestling Network. I know personally because I'm the one putting it up there, so I'm trying my best. And I'm also the one that's putting up these wrestling shows with Soul City Wrestling and the Universal Wrestling Council. And there'll be more episodes to come that we'll discuss on shows that are available on the High Spots Wrestling Network under the How Did This Get Booked tab of the High Spots Wrestling Network. Also, too, here's a point where I would like to bring up some corrections, omissions, something that fans caught that we didn't. Most notably on episode 2 of Halloween Havoc 95, Derek brought this to my attention that when the Giant came out for the main event, after he'd already been thrown off the roof of Cobo Hall after the very engaging sumo monster truck battle, as the Giant was being walked to the ring by Kevin Sullivan for the main event match against Hulk Hogan, Kevin Sullivan was saying things in tongues and giving some sort of rant, which Derek pointed out was probably was Kevin Sullivan doing some sort of chant that was bringing the Giant back to life. That's right. Kevin Sullivan was playing the part of a necromancer, I believe would be the proper nomenclature in that situation, as if he rose the Giant up from death. And of course, after falling off Cobo Hall, there was no marks on him whatsoever, so this chant was obviously working effectively and was a healing serum in a sense. But none of the announcers brought it up, and we didn't bring it up, and we didn't even catch it. But I guess if you watch Halloween Havoc, you can hear Kevin Sullivan give a chant on how to bring somebody back to life, a la Pet Cemetery. So you don't need to, bury your loved ones or your dogs in the Pet Cemetery. Just call up Kevin Sullivan. He'll give the same rant that he gave Paul White, the Big Show, before his match against Hulk Hogan on Halloween Havoc 95. Anyways, folks, we're going to jump into this wonderful episode with Jake Steward where we talk about Soul City Wrestling. And like I said, if you missed out on watching the show on my YouTube page, it is available on the High Spots Wrestling Network, who are our sponsors for this podcast. And for a free month of High Spots Wrestling Network, just use the promo code HDTGB. All caps, no periods in between. Abbreviate How Did This Get Booked. That is the promo code you use for a free month of the High Spots Wrestling Network. Anyways, let's jump right into this wonderful conversation about Soul City Wrestling on How Did This Get Booked. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of How Did This Get Booked? I, of course, am your host, along with my co-host, my tag team partner, my stable mate, my bike gang member, Zane Riley.
Bosom buddy.
Perfect strangers. All those nomenclatures that you would put on that, my good friend. But we are joined today by my comedic tag team partner.
This is horseshit.
I have both of my versions of Seth Rogen to my James Franco, all in the same place at the same time. So when you guys shook hands, I'm surprised the universe didn't explode. So joining us,
awkward.
Joining us today as our non-wrestling fan is Jake Steward.
Hello,
actor, comedian, fellow podcaster with me with the 5 Minute Podcast, which is available at 5minutepod.com. So. Jake, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And taking a chance on this show that I made you watch. But before we delve right into it, what's your background as far as like wrestling? What's your exposure to it? Like what?
Okay.
Give me what you know about it.
I had like friends or whatever growing up that liked wrestling. It was never really my thing because as a kid, it was like that. That's when they changed it from federation to entertainment because it was like a big deal that like, oh no, everything's like staged or whatever. And so as a kid I was like, I'm not super into it. But now like growing up as I'm getting older, I'm seeing more and more of my friends are like getting back into it. And then like I take a look at it and it's like, oh well, clearly the point is like it's this actually amazing like story that's happening. It's not really about the violence itself. It's like a general almost like Greco drama happening like on stage. Sorry.
You can say soap opera. We won't get offended.
I feel like you're tap dancing around. You can jump right in and say whatever you want. But like I've never heard it put so eloquently. I'm not. That's not a look of dismay or disgust. That's a look of befuddlement using such big words to describe what we do.
It's my pretentious theater background jumping in there.
I'm smarter than you.
We get it.
But yeah, I never really got super into it. I don't know why. It just never really became my thing. And I was surprised at getting more into the stand-up world in the past year or so. The crossover between like stand-up and wrestling, for some reason, that Venn diagram has a huge middle section. And it's so interesting to me because I had no idea about it. Like, a lot of the writers for, like, professional, like, wrestling stuff are stand-ups. And, like, a lot of the stand-up friends that I have are huge fans of wrestling. It's, like, this crazy, interesting, like, thing I didn't even know existed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't remember who was talking about this. They were talking about people who like professional wrestling were people that were fans of live action dramas or live action shows, where it seems like if you like cartoons, pro wrestling wasn't your thing. But if you if you were a watcher of live action TV shows, it seems like you gravitated towards the pro wrestling. At least that's something that I've noticed through discussions with people and listening to other people talk about it on podcasts as well. Yeah. But on this podcast, we are discussing You know what's fantastic? Before I say this show name, folks, when the two people on this podcast break out in almost laughter and hisses when I don't even get to saying the name, which is Soul City Wrestling. It was the show we watched. To give you more information about the show that we watched, it happened in Norristown, Pennsylvania. I'm not for sure if that is Soul City or not, but I will say, let's just say it is. The show happened in December 23rd of 1996. I estimate the attendance to be somewhere around 250, maybe 300. Definitely not 300 paid, though, I would imagine.
No.
But somewhere in that range.
Not to throw out the racist card yet, but you know some of those people were family to some of those wrestlers. Like 90% of those guys were related.
I believe this was a rec center. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the wrestlers or participants on the show ran that rec center, but we'll get into that later.
A real sweet-ass rec center, though.
Yes, real nice rec center. I imagine this promotion might have been the reason why wrestling never is allowed in Norristown, Pennsylvania, because I haven't wrestled there.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't.
So I imagine that they probably...
This is a one and done.
This might have been a one and done. Might have been.
They killed the soul.
But killed the soul. Already with the dynamite lines,
yeah.
Riley. But let's start with what we saw originally on this video, the first image.
Who?
You mean clip art?
The first thing that I wrote down was, this looks like a racist Disney character that should have been locked up in the vault in the 50s.
It does.
I was like, I don't think anyone's allowed to draw what that logo is.
Yes, the clip art graphic with Jungle Boogie playing in the background as loud as possible.
And a ridiculously racist caricature of a very Jack Black man with very large lips. He looks like he's in blackface.
Yeah.
It looks like old tigers should have chased him around a tree until he turned to butter. Which is an original Disney thing if you're up to your no.
Okay, so that's not something rolling around in your racist
No.
That's a real
That's a thing. That's a thing. I've been holding back the name of the cartoon, but it's a thing.
Well, and also through the voiceover, the Sheik You Bet brings you Soul City Wrestling.
That's what he said?
Yes.
I just heard Arabic.
It was Sheik You Bet.
Okay.
Sheik You Bet.
Sheik You Bet, which is a name that will be called upon multiple times throughout the podcast.
So many times.
So many times.
There's so many of the same thing happening this entire show.
See,
That if you're going to start a How Did This Get Booked drinking game, here's the perfect place to begin.
yes, for sure. If you see a Sheik, you take a shot.
And there's multiple Sheiks through the show.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
We'll definitely get into that because a lot of things were very confusing to me. And I think it's very ironic they used Jungle Boogie on this because it's from the Pulp Fiction soundtrack, which is probably popular at the time. ECW was using a lot of that time. But also, too, things started to come together for me towards the end because this was very confusing in the beginning. But I think as we get towards the end of discussing this, things will start piecing together. Even though that's more like Usual Suspects than Pulp Fiction. But we'll see as we go.
There's going to be such epiphanies in this show that change all of our minds about wrestling.
That will at least answer the question of how did this get booked.
No, I think that's the only question that won't be answered.
To be surprised.
It still boggles my mind.
Well, as we jump past this wonderful graphic art, obviously designed by Pixar.
Yeah. It's in a Microsoft Paint frame.
I was wondering, it looked familiar, but I don't know what it is.
It is in the Microsoft Paint frame.
So, that's beautiful.
But jumping right in, we have the intro done by Tom Collins and Slick Johnson.
Two of the best names ever.
Yes.
Jake, what were your thoughts on Tom Collins' mustache?
He looked like if Eric Idle and Jeff Foxworthy had a baby. Like the first thing I thought was like he should be British, but he's not. Yeah, it was a real good mustache.
Yeah, and that real clever joke about Tom Collins. That seems like a British thing too.
Right? Yeah.
You might be British if. I did it. Fucking did it. I'm just going to close my book and leave, guys.
There it is.
Catch you guys on the club.
You might be British if...
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Oh, God.
Crazy train off the rails.
It was funny when I first saw Tom Collins. I was actually watching the first part of this with my girlfriend, and she referred to him as a labradoodle. But I love the very beginning, the first frame as we cut to ringside. A random family walking to their seats with a plate of nachos.
Is that what I thought it was a pie at first. I was like, they just have pie here.
It might be. I guess nachos because that's the regular wrestling fan
Right.
food, but it could have been a pie.
Like a homemade concession stand. We got pie.
And if it was pie, that makes this even better.
Oh.
That takes it at a completely different angle that we should really explore.
But, Jake, what type of pie was it?
That is a good question.
It is,
I'm going to hope for apple.
Yeah?
I'm a sucker for apple pie.
Well, who isn't? Especially All-Americans, and considering this is an All-American show.
Oh, super American.
Super run by Sheik You Bet.
All-American.
All-American show. But let's talk about match number 1 featuring Venom versus Champagne.
Jakes, say you're getting ready to go through the curtain, and you want to get as hype as unimaginably as possible.
Okay.
You're coming out. What's the song you choose?
Clearly, Champagne Supernova.
Clearly, Champagne Supernova. Because, of course, your name is Champagne, but not like Champain.
Which should have been the pun.
Which is exactly like, come on.
No, he's
Come
just
on.
really
No.
classy.
He is one orange juice away from being a Sunday lovely morning.
Absolutely. And see, when you talk about Champagne, I actually have a considerable amount of insider information about Champagne.
Oh, please.
Wait, what? Of all the people on this show?
Yes, I have.
Surprise special guest. Bring him out.
He's sitting in the back bedroom right now. Let's put on Champagne.
Because he lives in my front yard.
But no, Champagne, and actually Venom himself, I guarantee they rode with the Hardy Boys, where it's the second match.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. He was
Wait, what?
part of Omega, the original Omega, which is a
Okay.
promotion that the Hardy Boys started. And Champagne is actually Marty Garner. He is he got into wrestling very late, so I'm guessing at about the time that he had this match.
So now?
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. He would probably be about 37 at the time this match happened. So keep that in mind.
Man.
But Champagne Marty Garner, his gimmick was that he was an exotic dancer from Reno, Nevada, and he hung up his G-string for the wrestling ring.
All right.
Oh, man.
And he's unafraid of driving through hell with a gasoline tanker wearing gasoline underwear. I believe I butchered that, but
I believe you did too, but I still love it.
a tanker truck full of gasoline, wearing gasoline underwear through hell. Like, he had all kinds of lines.
That's
and he did a lot of
amazing.
extra talent back in the day with WWF. And he got over with the boys so much that The Rock, during that time, loved seeing him as an extra. So much, in fact, that when The Rock started doing movies like Walking Tall or The Rundown, he hired Marty as a personal assistant.
What?
And he would still be The Rock's personal assistant if he didn't fuck it up.
Oh, no.
How did he fuck it up, Jake?
Please.
Being a little irresponsible?
Wait, you mean to tell me that Champagne,
Yes.
this man that we saw, is irresponsible?
A little irresponsible. I think he took his job a little too lightly. Wasn't as professional as he should have been a couple of times. Especially since the only story he could tell me about working with The Rock was banging one of the production assistants.
Good for him.
Sure.
But he was so full of one-liners that The Rock just loved having around because he was entertaining. So basically, he was hired to be The Rock's best friend
That's the best.
for roughly about 2 years.
I'm just going to point at you. You tell me something funny. Go.
Pretty much. That's about what his
That's-
job was. That was kind of his
That's
job.
Awesome.
And actually, if you remember, you might have saw him on pay-per-view, Zane. He was the debut match of MVP in WWE.
Wow.
Because that was at the pay-per-view in Raleigh. And he was even still trying to get a job and doing extra talent work when I was doing extra talent work. And I've actually wrestled...
When you were manhandling Batista?
Yes, I think he might have been on that tour as well.
Good.
But no, Champagne Marty Garner, I've wrestled him several times.
Yeah.
And it's always been very dramatic. Like,
You mean awesome?
oh yeah, it was always awesome. Don't get me wrong, I loved him. Like, one time I threw him like off the top rope through like 2 tables to the floor.
Just
and
one
then,
won't do.
Then we had to keep having this match while EMTs took care of him. and then wheeled him out. But as he's about ready to go out the door, he stops the door from slamming in the gym, gets up off the rolling cart, and runs back to the ring, takes off the neck brace, and wins the match.
With Champagne Supernova playing out.
Absolutely. That's how he comes out.
They had to kick back up, though. Like, he
Yeah.
was taking him out. He didn't know, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And the Champagne Supernova.
So yes, I have
There we go. Good singing, guys.
We're real good.
All around everybody on the floor. Good
I
job.
have nothing but fond memories of Champagne. So I guess that's surprising.
Well, minus this match.
Well, what are your takes on it, Zane?
Actually, I thought it was awful at first, and then I saw the rest of the show. Best match on the card. I'm gonna say it right there.
Really?
Yeah, I agree, actually.
Venom was the best wrestler on this show.
Really?
Yeah.
Venom, who is actually Jason Arndt, otherwise known as Joey Abs, which
Oh.
was a member of the Mean Street Posse.
Yes, he was.
He was paid to be Shane McMahon's best friend. Wasn't quite as lucrative as being paid to be The Rock's best friend.
Buddy versus buddy match.
Yes. So that's basically what we got. We got The Rock's best friend versus Shane McMahon's best friend.
Very good.
What are your thoughts on this match, Jake?
At first, I thought that you had me watch this show because I had the same haircut as Venom. And I was like, all right, sure.
This is a really in-depth way to tell you something. We'll start a podcast so we can tell Jake to get a haircut.
But yeah. It was super impressive because they were doing a lot more of like the flying through the air flips and then like grab someone, then you take their momentum against them, more flips and shit, and that was very interesting to watch.
Yes. Athletically, unbelievable.
Yeah, they came out of the gate real strong, much stronger than like the audience did, because the audience, when they announced their names, just sat there and did nothing.
They had no clue.
I'm guessing because they were white, and that's
yeah. I was gonna say that, but I felt that I've already had too many race comments so far.
I
will let you guys catch up.
I felt that from you, but I was gonna help you out. You know, it's a good scene partner. I sent that. I got that. But let's also talk about the referee in this match.
Worst. Well, I wrote best dressed ref.
Yes.
That's where the best parts stop.
Yes. Tan pants.
Yeah.
Soul City Wrestling t-shirt.
We call them khakis, but it's cool. Tan pants.
I thought they were tan jeans.
Oh
tan
man,
jeans.
Now we're just in a whole different.
See, I thought they were tan jeans. I didn't look them as khakis. I was thinking that was denim dyed tan.
Ooh.
Tan denim.
That's if you want to look like you're wearing khakis, but you still want to feel casual.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you might have some work you got to do later.
Yeah,
probably set up and tear down that ring. So
yeah, you got to do that, and also too, kind of bitter beer face.
Yeah,
but looks like William H. Macy. At least that's what I was picking up on it. But anything else about this match that I'm missing out?
Champagne hurts himself more, or no, I'm sorry. Venom hurts himself more than Champagne does. Because there's a botch spot at the beginning where, like, Venom just eats shit in the bottom rope. And then there's a moment later where he gets tossed out and trips and slams his head into the guardrail.
Oh, yes.
Like, super hard. To where I didn't think he was going to keep going. So, Venom, definitely the best offense on himself. Champagne had the worst strikes I've ever seen, but when it came to moving, man, he could go.
He was flying.
Which also begins one of my drink when this occurs, the pop up and take the drop kick out of it, because it happens 2 more times.
Okay, well there's a couple more other things that come up, but we'll get there when we
and the monkey flip sequence.
Oh yes,
the seesaw monkey flips.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely
that happens a lot.
Yeah, which Venom was on the ground, and then Champagne's like, oh no, I'm going to grab both your hands. Now we'll do the monkey flip thing where I just do a flip, but then I get killed again.
Yeah.
So, not quite the ring psychology major that he was, but God darn, he was so fun to wrestle and just watch. Right. I love Champagne Marty Garner so much, and this match is just a continuation of that. So, anything else we need to discuss on match 1?
I don't think so.
That's all I...
Okay, well, now we're going to move on to, I feel like the true gold of this show are the promos in between matches.
This is what makes the show this show.
Yeah. That's what landed this show on this show for sure. Is these promos are unbelievable. Like, and out of like context and break character and don't really make any sense.
And all done by the same dumpster.
Yeah. Really need to work really hard on set location.
I wrote down, God, take a UCB class. It's not that hard. Just a 101.
You're close. You're close to being in film.
Entry class. Or we'll just take an improv workship at the community center.
One
at the
weekend,
community center.
just something.
And this is probably a community center as well. I'm sure there's one going on.
Right? Just that's what was on the other side of the curtain they kept coming out of.
Exactly.
There's a lot more people at that.
Yeah, just go there.
I couldn't tell like if these were written or if they even knew like a goal in mind for the scene,
No.
or if the camera was just on and like, oh, I guess we'll
Go
say
ahead, Slick Johnson.
words now. It's like
Especially this one with Slick Johnson and
Hard
Hard Rock
Rock.
Hamilton, who are in a tree,
right?
Yeah.
I'm guessing,
Uh-huh.
and looking for the Sheik.
But
Like
they keep saying, Sheikah, please.
yeah.
Like, how can we dance around the N-word, but still get our point across?
It felt like someone like he just like threw it off as a joke and was like, "Oh, that's good. Let's keep using
Yeah.
that joke. It's
Bring it back.
gold." And then
Bring it back.
like, they'll love it.
And I just love how they're in the woods
Somewhere.
looking for the Sheik. Like, shouldn't you be in a desert or a palace looking for the Sheik? Like, it looks like you're looking for the Blair Witch, okay?
Right?
Like,
There's one point where the camera tilts up to what's above them in the tree. There's nothing there, but I expected like the Sheik to be like him watching the whole time.
He was just-
But there was nothing. Like the camera was like, "Ooh, I'll see what's nope back
Nope.
down."
Oh.
Like, oh, okay. Because we
Thought they
didn't
were
plan
coming down the
that
tree.
far
Not up.
ahead.
I didn't. Camera guy's first day also.
oh, but we got to get Hard Rock Hamilton in there.
Yeah. Literally every 35 minutes, I believe, because it happens a lot.
We'll get into my fan theory about that very soon.
Wait. Fan? Whoa.
Well, I'll explain later. Maybe I used the word fan a little too strong.
Yeah, we got definitions different.
Maybe viewer fiction, if you will.
Oh, fanfic. Got it. Got it.
Got it. But anyways, match number 2, Will-O-the-Wisp and Surge, otherwise known as Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy.
I don't think so. I think it was Will-O-the-Wisp and Surge.
Oh, well,
Get it right.
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
They look alike.
They
Don't
do
get me
look
wrong.
alike, and the moveset is quite there.
All there.
Jake, what were your thoughts on the Will-O-the-Wisp's costume?
Well, I feel like I am assuming because they brought it up like at the end of the match that his backstory is like he was a luchador of sorts, and then but it wasn't like the normal kind of luchador mask. It was like a big like it had a green mullet for like no reason. But I also come from a lot of backgrounds of like comic book conventions, so I was actually really comfortable with him as a wrestler. I was like, this is normal. This is what this should be.
Yeah, I like this guy.
Like just a Mexican Green Lantern.
Right, that's all that's happening.
8-year-old
right now.
Jake Stewart would have wanted to buy his 8x10.
Exactly.
You know, like
Verde Lantino.
I think that's what they were going for. Of course, you know, Matt and Jeff they made their own gear. So actually all of this gear is what they made, because that was another thing they did. They used to make guys headbands and stuff like that. When they go to WWE, they make certain people's like accessories for when they would do extra talent.
That's awesome.
Well, Will-O-the-Wisp's little chest plate thing goes on to be Hurricane Helm's consistent gear if you look at it.
Oh.
It's even got the big H.
Oh.
But it's the green
Like an
chest
homage
piece
to it.
of
Absolutely.
old Hurricane. Stand back.
But also too, you know, like I said, this very early Hardy Boys. You know, I gotta say nothing but good things, except maybe the referee looks like Adam Sandler a little bit.
Sure did. Real bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was definitely who that was.
For sure. And the thing is that's interesting about the Hardy Boys in this match is this is the second match on a show in front of 200 people. And these people have no idea that they're watching people that will probably end up being WWE Hall of Famers.
Very soon. Like,
Like, probably the next 5-6 years they'll probably be in. Or 10 at least. But, like, these people have no clue that this is the early beginnings of that. And also, too, this is the age of, like, where you can pick a guy up, whip him off, hit a move that you saw in a Japanese tape. Pick a guy up, hit him up with a lucha. And that's kind of with a little bit of the psychology of the matches. It's just do a bunch of stuff. But if you put it in the context of that time, nobody was really doing that on shows.
Right.
And as we see falling off past the shows, that's what you saw in the rest of the show is what the entire scene was like.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So what you saw, that's why I want to bring it up for your context, Jake. Like now you could probably watch a match like that on YouTube like all the time, or
Right.
you could go to a show up the street or down the road or just stumble onto one somewhere else, and you're going to see a couple matches like that. In 1996, Hardy Boys are pretty much the only ones doing that at that time.
That's awesome.
That's why they were so revolutionary. That's why they were internet darlings at one point in time. And of course, now that they're the most polarizing people in the entire wrestling world because of different reasons. But at one point in time, they were probably the most revolutionary people on the independent scenes. And as far as like independent superstars, they were it for sure. And this show is a perfect example of how they would come into a town, a promotion, and just completely change the complexion of everybody's minds.
Yeah.
So, but we must make notice that this is the first. This would be my take a drink moment, where Jeff is wearing forearm pads as kick pads.
Yeah.
This is a recurring theme
Yep.
throughout the rest of the show. Apparently, highspots.com was not around at
Not
this
yet.
time,
Not
and kick pads were obviously not that available.
Mm-hmm.
So most people were using, like the soccer
Football,
kick pad, forearm pads as shin guards.
All right.
And that's the first time where this shows up, and it won't be the last time that it appears on this show. So
Also, there's a real sweet ass the sunset flip, and they pulled out a Willow's butt.
oh yeah.
And where I come from, that gets you kicked out of South Carolina locker room.
Thank you for bringing that
Jake
up.
Manning.
Thank you for bringing that up. They did a spot where I basically has gotten me kicked out of a locker room before. The
Yep.
pull down the butt spot.
Yeah.
I've done that before.
And ran around for about as long. I was his partner. We walked to the back, and the first thing was said, "There's a preacher in the front fucking row." And all we did was just walk straight to our bags and leave in our gear.
Because we
We
knew it was
just
fun.
assumed we were getting paid.
Yeah, pretty much. But what were your thoughts on the match, Jake?
He had some sweet dance moves.
You sure
The
did.
Wisp.
Darn right, Jeff Hardy had sweet dance moves.
Yeah. I actually wrote down, I'm glad that you actually answered this question. I wrote down, who designed these costumes? Because Serge has a real future in fashion design. Those pants were amazing.
He
Yes.
made it work.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
He made a lot of people's gear. In fact, there was a comment made that when he got hired by WWE and he went on the road with them, a lot of people were going to lose out on good gear. And I thought people would say the same for me if I ever got hired. Like, man, people are going to lose out on a really good camera guy for wrestling shows. Not the case. I'm still here filming shows.
You gotta wrestle the dark so we can have you film the main show, kid.
Pretty much. But wonderful aerial display, I feel like.
Lots.
Young Jeff Hardy. Whew. Wow. I'm pretty
like, it
impressed.
just landed on every rope that he jumped to. Like,
God, like that
like,
last
just
sequence was just
ridiculousness.
unbelievable. Like, yeah, just unbelievable. Moving right along, though, the promos. Most notably the one with Magic, who was wearing a lavalier microphone. If you couldn't pick up on it, just walking.
And dressed like a grand dragon.
Is that what he looked like?
Yes.
Okay.
All out, decked out in red and black, had a
Yeah.
pointy hood.
Mm-hmm. This is the one where I want to hurt people. Is
Yeah.
that what he was saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Soul City. Soul City. It's that one.
Yeah, I want to
That
have
one.
people in Soul City.
All I wrote down was, what is happening? Who wrote this?
And the Sheik just makes an appearance.
Of course.
Of course. Yeah. Guess I'm.
Which seamlessly
Yes.
leads into a different promo at a different time of day.
Different hockey jersey.
It's here. I get real pissed off when the match starts. Chino Martinez, who also introduces himself to the Sheik. But Sheik just told Magic that he could kill people there. And then they go on to wrestle. So, are you telling me that the Sheik knowingly sets up Chino to die? At the hands of Magic?
Say it isn't so shit.
I know. Which goes on until the end of the show. I'm never led one way or the other about how I should feel about the Sheik. He's never painted as a bad guy until the end. Slick Johnson's always just the asshole. But he's the good guy come the end? I have no clue what's going on.
Well, see, I think
Which I go into more of a detailed mythos later.
Uh-huh.
We'll get there, but I'm just real friggin' confused right now.
Well, I would like to shed maybe a little light that maybe, tip my hand on my fan fiction on this show.
Oh, good.
Is that I believe that the Sheik is the guy that probably is the money
Yeah.
behind all of
Oh,
this
yeah,
show.
yeah.
And I think the guy who's the promoter, or whoever it is,
Hard Rock Hamilton?
We'll get into who I think it is. But I feel like they're like, oh, this guy's kind of paying for the show.
Yeah, we gotta...
Let's make sure he gets his money's worth. Let's put him in every promo, even if it doesn't make any sense.
And none of them do.
And take stuff out of context. As long as this guy feels cool, it doesn't make a difference.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. And Chino Martinez, he's not faking moves, he's making moves. And proceeds to...
And then he just weird little shuffle that he does.
Makes a dance move that all three of us could do.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to press it with dance moves, you got to bring it a little bit harder, son.
He just, like, moves his feet just a little bit. It was half like a Peanuts dance. Where it was like, I'm making moves.
Snoopy can dance better than Chino Martinez.
Play that song, Schroeder.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
For sure. But anyways, match number 3, Chino Martinez
versus Magic. Now, we just saw him moments ago in an LA Kings jersey.
Yes.
But this son of a bitch comes to the ring in a New Jersey Devils jersey. I can't stand for this bandwagon jumper of a guy. Pick a side. What? East Coast, West Coast, buddy. We can't be both. Tupac or Biggie, get your shit together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he put it on the New Jersey Devil one because they would have been around the Philadelphia area, and I don't know if the Flyers hate the Devils. That's my only guess why he would do that.
Well, you could have also been a Penguins fan.
Yeah, like that definitely would have made sense. Like,
there's far better ways to get over.
I don't think Chino Martinez has the money to have every NHL hockey jersey.
True.
I don't think he has like a Winnipeg Jets jersey.
It's not like he has any other gear to speak of, so I guess you're right.
So, Jake, what are your thoughts on Magic? Magic the wrestler, not Magic in general.
Not just like...
Or Magic Johnson, or...
Yeah, or the Orlando Magic.
Sure.
So.
The only thing I wrote down for this one was that the weight class seemed a little unfair.
Yeah.
It was a little unbalanced for this match. Magic, who seemed to be in the 300 range, and then Chino, was that his name?
Yes, Chino Martinez.
Seemed like 100 on a good day.
On a good day.
And so I'm like, he's gonna get thrown around.
And you were not incorrect. I couldn't tell if Chino was super tall or Magic was just really short. Because there's also a very distinctive height difference here. And so they build Magic up to... Which, for what he is and how he looks, why is Magic his name? Why is Red Scorpion calling himself Magic?
Well, he might be Magic because he's able to get lineman forearm pads on his shins and shin guards on his biceps. Maybe that's why he's Magic, because he can pull that off.
Poof.
So,
and we're back to really bad referee in this, too.
Yes, we
who
are.
At points just like drops down but doesn't necessarily count. Just goes 2 at the end of stuff.
Even the commentators were like, was that a count? Or, okay, it's 2. It is 2. And then they just like move on.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
And we would never really find out if Magic is a good guy or a bad guy.
No. He starts off pretty over, rips off that chic in the audience's headgear, which may have been really offensive. Like, what if that guy was just
an audience member?
Yeah, me and my family, we're here.
That's the thing, is like he's looking for applause from the audience and approval as like a good guy would.
Right.
But he just ripped off a sheik's headdress.
Yep.
Now, don't get me wrong, I know how America feels about Muslim Americans, but that's not how you endear yourself to other people.
Right. I assumed he was the bad guy just because of the promo of I want to hurt people.
Yeah.
I want to hurt people.
Exactly.
Context clues.
It's like,
lead
all
you to
right, I
believe.
guess, but like if you're in the ring, you didn't see that.
Yeah.
You did not see that promo.
Unless you get this amazing copy of the DVD.
You did not see Magic's backstory, okay?
Exactly.
His origin tale. You did not see that.
There's no prologue here.
None of that. But I should bring up in this match, there's an interesting commentary point. You're bringing up the commentators, where Slick Johnson says, I bet you didn't know the commissioner was a black woman.
Wrote that down. Sure did write that down. I had no idea in what context that had relevancy. Because they don't talk about the commissioner before that.
No.
He's like, oh, by the way, black woman. Now, is that meaning that since he, being a black man, has far more pull with her? Mm-hmm. Or is she just so sassy that no one can do anything with her? Like, what we getting out here, Slick?
Yeah, like what's your end game?
What's the statement being made?
What's the punchline here, Slick? Like I don't quite get it.
Just in case you guys were wondering.
Yeah, Tom Collins just got all weird about it. I'm like, that's what you mean.
Look at that! Look at the match over there!
Holy crap! Tino Martinez!
So let me tell you about this black bitch that runs this place.
That would have made sense. I can deal with something like that.
Yeah, like Slick Johnson trying to be heel, which at the time he's for the bad guy. He's for the baby face. He's all over the place.
Yeah,
he's not like
he has no idea what.
Bad guy commentators stick with bad guys, but he is all over the place. He's only about Slick Johnson.
Yep,
Slick Johnson is about Slick Johnson for sure, without a doubt.
That's what makes him Slick Johnson.
Whatever gets it wet. What's up?
Absolutely. Ending on a stump puller maneuver, which
kind of with the pin, except
it's really a submission hold.
But the commissioner's a black woman, so what can you do?
What are you gonna do?
What can you do?
Any other discussion before we move on?
No.
Okay, let's move on. Match number 4.
Let's move on to the video recap.
Okay.
That keeps playing throughout the show of the show we're watching.
Okay.
Why do they keep playing this video recap of the exact same one? It's not like a highlight package from the last show, and this is a highlight package from the last 2 matches. This is of the entire show, and they do it 3 times. This is very Spaceballs-esque, where they have to go to Spaceballs the movie and be now.
To find out, yeah.
Well, thank you for bringing up that
point.
Well, because it happens, I was like, I don't remember this, and I've been watching.
How does this fat man get caught on fire?
Right?
Easy there. We haven't got that far yet.
According to this video recap we have.
There we go.
There are no spoilers in this thing.
Well, where we're at right now is match number 4. Havoc Incorporated versus Battlestar, and I think Cold
Steel.
Cold Steel. Not Colt, but Cold Steel.
Cold.
He was the teal pants guy?
Teal pants, yes.
Cold Steel was...
Cold Steel, yes. Not the original Cold Steel.
Battlestar was Black Sting.
Okay.
Or Black David Bowie.
Ooh.
Same guy.
That's
Same. Okay. Yeah. Go with whichever you want.
Sure.
So, but it's interesting, like, what is the origin story of how Cold Steel and like Battlestar got together?
Yeah, what's their
how this
their coming of age story?
Especially since Battlestar is from Japan.
Yeah,
and Cold Steel, obviously a white man, is from Mexico.
Oh, he's from Mexico.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, how'd that happen?
I have no idea. Battlestar, obviously a time traveler, met a guy with a really sweet ass rat tail. It was like, of all the people to fight by my side, it'll be you.
Because I want to see you get pulled by that rat tail throughout the whole match.
The
only thing that was touched in that match was his rat tail.
God bless Colt Steel. Got the crap beat out of himself
the entire time.
None.
And I said, like, let's just say, me and Zane have wrestled people who have been very forceful. I would never step in the ring with Havoc Incorporated.
Never.
They shoot DDT'd somebody first.
Right away. Immediately.
Did not care of anybody's well-being whatsoever in any moves that they did. I was thinking to myself, like, man, Battlestar seems to making his own comeback and fighting back way more than he should. He should be kind of selling the action to him. But then I started thinking, no, he's fighting for his life right now. He is fighting
trying to get out.
We're seeing a real fight. A black man from Japan who looks like David Bowie is fighting for his life against these guys who are also wearing forearm pads or shin guards.
Yep.
Take a drink.
The entire, the whole first half of the match, I kept thinking, is Battlestar ever going to tag the fuck out? And then he finally does, and I'm just like, oh man, tag back in. Yeah, this has gotten worse.
Oh yeah.
What is going on here?
For a long time, when it was just him getting beat the shit out of, even the commentators like, why isn't he tagging out? The camera pans out a little bit, And you couldn't even see Battlestar, like, anywhere nearby. I was like, oh, because he's not helping. He's just watching. He was like, get in there. What are you doing?
Help your friend.
He's the only one that seemed to obey the rules. If you don't enter until you're tagged. Because everyone else is like, oh, I'm just going to jump in and start hitting people. He's like, no, I'll wait. I'll hold my time.
Oh, that's cool. Ignoring the rules is a common theme. Even the last match where like Magic just grabbed a chair. And now we're using chairs to set up and do the Sabu spot on Colt Steel where his head...
Yes! Just kills that man.
On the dive where he's basically... One of the members from Havoc Incorporated jump off a chair a la Sabu down to the ground where Cold Steel is, and his head is smushed between the guardrail and that person's body. He had to have gotten a concussion or some type of hematoma.
100%.
Yeah.
And the commentators, all they can say is, Cold Steel ran into Cold Steel. Tom Collins just, I guarantee, looked right at Slick Johnson and was like, that's how you do it, kid.
I think he covered his microphone bit too. It was like, that's how you fucking say it. Sprinkles are for closers.
And just the repeated onslaught attack with no pinfall covers whatsoever.
Because then it had to stop if that happened.
Yeah, because they can't stop beating them up. That's all they want to do is get their moves in.
Right.
Which is basically what this entire match was.
Then there was a point where one of them, I think they got Battlestar down in his little beginning. The smaller of Havoc Inc. Like slammed him down right there at the ropes and did his little like moonsault deal off the ropes and completely fucking missed him. And like the guy didn't even move. He just ate shit. Just shot him by like 5 or 6 feet.
I thought it was planned, but nope. I think that's...
I thought it was the double down. I was like, okay, he was supposed to move. He missed him anyway. Whatever. It's time for Cold Steel. No, the other guy just gets in and just beats the shit out of him more.
Yep.
Yeah. Just like, never mind. I missed. My buddy's turn. I'm not going to miss by kicking you in the head.
For sure. Anything else we need to discover or discuss in this match?
8 million cock shots in this starting here.
Oh yeah, take a drink every time you see a nut shot.
Yep. Mm-hmm. You've seen 2 so far in this show. Here's the 3rd.
Thank you for keeping track so far. Yeah. All right, we've covered it.
I think so.
Moving right along. Promo with the Misfits.
Ooh.
Promo that is out of sync, which is fantastic.
Which becomes an occurrence the rest of the show.
The rest of the match.
That is true.
The whole show.
This one taking place at night, where the rest were daytime.
Yes.
This one I love because it just starts with one of them yelling, "We are original!" as he's wearing a t-shirt for the band that he stole his name from. I'm like, what? What are you doing? You can't pick the one word that you're not and yell it. What is
And then they start to quote Children of the Corn.
Okay.
Because it's the we are he who walks behind the rose.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's where that's from.
Yes, it is from Children of the Corn, but I wrote it down Korn.
Children of the Corn!
Because, you know they listen to it.
Of course.
Of course.
I think when they updated their gimmick, they came out to it.
Yeah. If you could hear the sound of the show, besides Champagne Supernova and Hard Rock Hamilton's music, no other music is audible.
Yeah. I think I heard a little bit of Jimi Hendrix at one point.
Yeah.
But terribly.
Yes.
It was like someone was doing an impression of Jimi Hendrix.
I wrote that down later on, too, about Bad Voodoo Child being played.
All right, moving on. Match 5, we have the Misfits.
Go figure.
Harley Lewis, Double D Derek Domino, taking on Pez Whatley, legendary Pez Whatley.
I got so excited when I saw him.
And apparently, Ice Train.
Supposed to be Ice Train.
It's supposed to be Ice Train, who a former WCW superstar who was a part of Fire and Ice with Scott Norton. I'm guessing he was released. I'm guessing Pez was notorious for taking guys from the power plant and taking them to shows and giving them the opportunity to work and get better and doing that. I'm sure Ice Train was much of that, and I'm guessing this is about the time Ice Train probably said, "Fuck it, I'm not pro wrestling anymore." And Pez is now at the show in Pennsylvania without a tag team partner. And we think he's going to have a tag team partner. And Hard Rock Hamilton comes out,
Yep.
cuts a promo, and Pez turns down his help.
Now, he alludes to someone that did it earlier that day on TV.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Pez is wearing a WCW Nitro t-shirt, which, gosh, I wish I was around in the 90s so I can wear t-shirts at indie shows of shows that I jobbed on earlier that week, just so I can tell a couple extra pictures.
That I was about to win on.
Yes, exactly. And insist I go over on. So, because I'm on TV. Not that Pez did that, and I don't want to paint that as Pez. I'm just saying that's the shitty behavior.
That's how I want to be.
And I'm sure there were more than a few people that did that. Don't know if Pez was that type of person. Nothing but good things to say about Pez, especially in the fact that pretty decent handicap match.
Yeah.
No complaints here, you know?
Because Pez was in control most of the time.
Oh, yeah. Knew exactly what was going.
I also liked that the highlighted team from the promo of the Misfits were the "While You Were Away" intro. They just pop, like, when it comes back to the show, they're already in the ring.
Oh, yeah.
So they don't even get, like, the pomp and circumstance to walk into the ring.
just there.
They're right there.
Oh, yeah. And also, too, they had a valet, Angel.
I was actually going to ask what the Misfits backstory is. Because I thought she was their mom?
And their mom just happens to be a
very
leather
much
daddy.
treating her, and she was treating them like some weird dominatrix mother.
Yeah.
Like, she was very much in control of, like, where they should be at any given point.
See, and this also brings up another thing about the wrestling history. Women in wrestling was not very good. In the sense, well, they were treated very good at this time. Like, women in wrestling were treated as sex objects. So any halfway decent girl that had a dominatrix or a halfway leather outfit, I'm like, oh, no, you're a dominatrix now. You're a valet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like the day where we have serious female athletes and competing and having matches that are just as good as the men, if not better, and respected for that and not pushed aside for it. Women in wrestling were not well respected at this moment in time. So I guarantee Angel was like, hey, I got an all leather outfit, you're on the show. I'm sure that was about as much success as was going. And her promo during Hard Rock Hamilton, while he was in the ring, she was describing Hard Rock Hamilton like big, bloated, and I was waiting for the racial slur to come at the end of this promo. And it never showed up.
Greasy.
Yeah, greasy. I was waiting.
Like, whoa.
I was waiting for the 1920s racial slur to be used.
I think there was like a producer like right behind the camera guy going, no, stop. Too far.
Yeah, but it was going down the road, but she stopped. So
She's professional.
She's a professional. Weirdly, Pez Whatley got a chair in the ring and sat in the chair with his legs super crossed.
Very casual.
Very casual at one time.
Just want you to know that very comfortable in a ring.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was great when he turned down Hard Rock and just fighting them. I was like, oh, this will be great because the Misfits are clearly going to destroy each other before the thing even starts. It's like, he's just going to win by default.
Which Misfits, I guess being a misfit is by wearing Zubaz pants.
Right? Dressing like a really bad Sabu at points, or a really bad Hack Myers. Mm-hmm. You know.
And it'll probably make sense to a point later on, but like I love how this match is going on. Pez Whatley is in the ring. He is fighting two men. He's doing a very good job of
holding his own,
leading the match, making it all make sense. And people are chanting for Hard Rock. Chanting for a man.
Bring him back.
That isn't even there.
Yeah. That he was told, just leave, man.
Yeah,
Just go away.
So,
as I like to refer to Hard Rock as enormous DIC.
okay.
Yeah, you know. It's a play on words, like notorious B.I.G.
But Hard Rock can't stay out of the match.
Comes back none the fucking less.
Comes back nonetheless to beat the shit out of whoever's
well deserved. I would say
one of the Misfits,
because the Misfits, just like I don't know a whole lot about wrestling clearly, but if you're both fighting at the same time, that's against the rules, right? Like,
right?
Yeah.
No one gets punished for any rule breaking in the show, like at all.
The whole
it
mess
should
of
be,
warnings.
oh, you can't do that. Game over. But that's not what happened. They both jumped in. It almost felt like a hate crime at one point. He's on the ground, and they're both just kicking the shit out of him. It's like, come on, guys, you have to see how wrong this looks, right? Like, what are you doing?
How do they raise you up here in Philly?
And that's when Hard Rock comes in and just knocks them both out. Good.
Justice has prevailed.
Thank you.
Has been served.
And then, as we all hoped, Pez gets his moment in the sun as he sexually assaults Angel.
Yes, he does.
And just spanks her relentlessly for a couple of minutes.
Well, in the background, they got out of the ring and started fighting, like over by the dressing room and
Knocking over guardrails.
Yeah.
Which, guardrails only on one side of the ring.
The unruly side.
The unruly side. The unruly side.
That's where Hard Rock's family was sitting.
Well, you gotta keep that pie protected. You're not gonna buy a whole pie.
Yeah,
Everyone let me drop it. I want the guardrail.
no, we gotta get behind this guardrail. Protect this pie.
Yeah.
Who got this pie?
We got 8 matches to go. We gotta protect this pie. It's a blackberry pie. You can get these anywhere. Oh gosh.
This show brought to you by Soul City's Pies and Such.
Moving right along to a promo, which seemed more like a PSA in a sense.
It looked like a hee-haw pop-up.
Yeah.
Except it was Lucifer.
Yeah, like she's like, you shouldn't talk to strangers. Like, is this a PSA?
Yeah, it's like,
like just talking to her in a parking lot. And I love how he said, what do you think of the ladies asked, what do you think of the competition in Soul City Wrestling? He goes, there's no competition. That's why I'm here. If there's any competition, I wouldn't be here. So basically you're saying, like, if the bar was pretty high here, I wouldn't show up.
yeah. I'm only going if I know I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
Because I'm tough as shit.
Like, that's what he said. He's like, I'm not very good, so I'm only going to go to,
Right.
Yeah.
But like, he's the only one that got a lady to interview him.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
no one else got, like, a person. This is just some random news outlet going, hey, you.
So do you decide what your promos are? Like, did he write that?
I'm sure someone was
Oh,
like...
yeah. I don't think anybody else came up with
Yeah, he was like, hey, I just need you to cut this promo real fast. I got you.
it.
And that's what he came up with.
All right.
But he was just like, no, have her come ask me what I think about the locker room. So it,
Which might
so it
have been,
looks natural.
Yeah.
which might have been Angel without the
Could
hat
have
on.
been.
There you go.
Whoa.
I wouldn't have recognized her without that.
No.
Yeah, that's just saying.
She's not in leather or pleather, let's be honest. She's not in pleather, I don't know her.
Yeah, nobody can recognize her. But obviously, in the next segment, we recognize the Sheik You Bet talking to Dan Steele, which looks like
Small Lex
Jim
Luger.
I was thinking more of Jim McMahon, mentally challenged Jim McMahon, like
He had a
CTE Jim McMahon,
Had a
like
super sweet lisp. That
yeah.
went on for days.
I actually wrote down in all caps, I just heard the director say go
Yes.
at the beginning of the skit.
Got to go.
All right. And then the actor nods and starts his lines. I was like, all right, great.
Yes.
That worked.
And I
Yeah.
thought, I just heard steel, so I thought it was Cold Steel again.
That's what I thought
He's
too.
a very different person.
Yes. Yes.
He hit his head on that pole real hard.
Yeah.
He got so swollen from hitting his head, he is massive now. But then I was like, why did they interview him after I lost?
Exactly. That's what I thought, but it wasn't until later on
And
I found out
then
it
the
was
next
Dan
match, I was like,
Steele.
wait, that's not him.
But yes, I was like, yes, this looks completely different than Cold Steel. But Sheik, of course, saying Soul City Wrestling, All American Wrestling promotion, run by a Sheik.
Yep.
All American.
America can have sheiks too. It's a land of opportunity, bro.
Okay.
Who are you to crush his chic dreams?
Stand corrected. Stand corrected as we move on to match number 6.
The one we've all been waiting for.
Mr. Lucifer versus The Real Deal. Jake, let's talk about Mr. Lucifer's outfit.
Okay. It looked like, kind of like someone was doing a bad, like, Rocky Horror Picture Show. It was, like, this weird, like, loose corset, which is, like, the opposite of what corsets do. Like,
An
it was, like, weird
anti-corset.
loose, and,
Made
like,
him fatter.
someone, like, stapled a tail to the back of it so he could be the devil.
But a
It was
furry
like a
tip.
black tail.
It was a furry
It
tip.
was. It was like a fuzzy, but it's still, like, the point that, like, a demon tail would have.
But then he had, like, it looked like 2 hot dogs as
The
horns.
horns were, like, weirdly limp and, like, not, like, colored correctly.
But he came out in a top hat with a crown around the top hat,
Yeah,
too.
To hide the
lot
horns.
of shit going, to unveil
Yeah.
the horns.
I have horns.
By the way, guys, horns.
Yeah.
I'm Lucifer. I got fucking horns.
And he's coming out shaking hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
me,
mean-
the devil.
How you doing?
Hi.
How you doing?
Maybe you've heard of me. Lucifer.
But, like, if he's trying to be a good guy, like,
You can't be the devil.
the devil, and not believe in your wrestling ability. Like, come on now. Like, what's your end game here, sir? You're all over the place on your
Yeah,
character.
absolutely.
Right now.
There was actually a moment, I don't remember which of the commentators said it, but he was like, "Oh, I know why they call him Lucifer." And there was a pause, and I was like, is the answer because he's literally dressed like Satan? No, the answer was because he's crazy. What?
Well, that's the case.
That's why they call him Lucifer. He's crazy.
Oh, that's the case. And I dated Lucifer in my last relationship.
Oh, man.
Oh my god. And wrestling the real deal.
Dad?
He looks like my dad. No joke. He's like a little bit fatter version of my dad.
He's definitely somebody's
It's
dad.
definitely. And they keep referring to these guys as having agility. Now, at no point have they said anyone else had it.
A surprising amount of agility, I think, is what it was. It's not that they were agile, it's that they were more than they should have been.
Yes.
For the sizes that they were.
And stamina they did not. Real Deal had to turn down a test of strength, I think solely because he was blown up and could not breathe.
Which they body shame Real Deal the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing that Tom Collins and Slick Johnson have agreed on is that Real
enormous
Deal is
size.
a big fat fuck.
The entire show, they've been on opposite ends of the earth. They come together like, no, fuck this
You
guy.
know what?
Yeah,
we can all
this-
agree that this guy's gigantic.
What a fat piece of shit.
But surprisingly mobile.
What a surprisingly agile piece of ass.
Yeah. But we come to the finish now. Another ball kick.
That took, a dick shot with an exclamation point here.
But then, Real Deal's got a chair, but Mr. Lucifer has something else going on, using kicks.
He just can't use it.
Yes.
He just keeps kicking him in the stomach till he gets it set up.
Which he was setting up a fireball,
Yeah.
which he spit from his mouth, which means he had alcohol or some sort of solution in his mouth, whatever the fire breathers would use. But he's walking around with it, and it's almost like he can't get the lighter out of his glove.
Yeah.
And here, Real Deal has a chair, and the thing is, Real Deal is supposed to swing back with the chair, getting hit with
then-
that. But Real Deal can't get the lighter out, so he's like
Just gonna
half
keep
kicking him,
Kicking you.
half kicking
No,
him.
you get away.
Like,
And then the commentators are like, I think he has something in his hands. And like 4 times.
I think it's brass knuckles.
yeah. And then the fireball comes out, and holy shit, is it big.
There's a lot of fire.
Like a Dalsim from Street Fighter amount of fire on this man.
Yes.
And that's when they should have said, I know why they call him Lucifer. Because he breathes fire. Like he set himself up for the joke way too early.
yes.
And didn't have the real punchline.
Great.
Yes, and then Real Deal's entire belly was engulfed in flames. But the thing is, it only hit his stomach.
Yeah.
But like as soon as the match is over, Adam Sandler, the referee, covered his face. Like, oh no, his face is
He's
burned.
disfigured.
No,
but it's his whole
disfigured.
stomach that was set ablaze.
Which wasn't even red. It was still perfectly pale.
Yes.
Like,
Which,
I was surprised he still had a mustache when it got back to him. Because even like on Mythbusters, like for half a second, if there's a fire, your eyebrows are gone. But like he kept that stash.
Oh, if I'm turning over my meat on the grill and the grill's too hot, I singe my arm hair.
Right?
So, like...
I was very impressed by his stash.
And that you should, my friend. That you should.
Hardest working stash in the business.
Absolutely. Like, I think the commentary even made a note of, like, oh, now he's a roasted pig.
That fat fuck.
To even cap off the whole barrage of fat shit that he had to deal with. Moving right along to a promo with the Ghetto Blaster.
Yup.
Ghetto Blaster, which, speaking of great direction, he's talking to the Sheik, and then all of a sudden they pan over to Hard Rock, but you hear Ghetto Blaster, who has a lot of microphone on him, like, what's his name again? What's his name again? What's his name again? What's his name again? Oh, hey! How are you? Like, it's almost like he's like, oh, I was supposed to say Hard Rock's name, but he forgot his name. And he was trying to whisper at the Sheik, like, hey, what's the name? What's his name again? Oh, shit, I'm mic'd right now. Oh, shit, we're doing this live? Oh, hey, man! What's going on?
Like, Ghetto Blaster was the brought-in name for this show.
Right. Yeah.
Spent all of our money on Ghetto Blaster.
Yeah. Like, Ghetto Blaster, big league.
Big leaguing the fuck out of everybody.
Hard Rock Hamilton. And, of course, we get to the match with Ghetto Blaster taking on Dan Steele, who does look completely different from his promo before.
Yeah. Because I didn't know that they were the same person.
Oh, absolutely.
I had no idea.
That's the thing. I saw this, went back and I'm like, oh, that was the Steele they were talking to before.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, but that guy doesn't even like. So there might be 3 Steele brothers.
Maybe.
The illustrious Steele family of wrestling.
He looked like a weird, like, long-lost son of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes,
though.
he looked very Terminator 1.
So much.
Well,
like,
as we
like
know about,
that Arnold doesn't know about.
we know about Arnold's sexual history.
Yeah.
Very likely could have
Quite
happened.
possibly.
The matchup looked like someone wanted to recreate as close as possible, like, the Predator on stage. It's like...
Exactly. And of course, Ghetto Blaster would play the part of Carl Weathers.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
Because he would have no problem ripping off anybody else's outfit or gear. Ghetto Blaster wearing an outfit very similar to what Harlem Heat would be wearing at this moment in time.
I thought he was a third Harlem Heat member. I was like, well, he's just in the group.
Might have been. This match is also interesting for the interesting fact that there are 2 Sheiks. At ringside. So I don't know if this is
one was like business chic because he had like the suit jacket,
and of course Sheik You Bet and the other Sheik. So this is like a Sheik Jack match, Lumber Sheik match.
Lumber Sheik match.
Lumber Sheik match is what I'm looking for.
Lumber Sheik.
So there's 2 Sheiks at the side.
Even the commentators were confused.
Yeah.
They were like, "There's the Sheik and there's another Sheik." Are
need-
there 2? Like they started talking to each other. Are there 2 right now?
They needed the doink moment where they play mirror.
And I don't know if the other Sheik was in like Dan Steele's corner or what.
Yeah, he just kind of stood there and watched the whole time.
He was a stud Sheik.
Yeah.
Just
the
in
other
case.
Sheik was like a pacer. And he had like that briefcase. He's like, I mean business. And
And
the
he's
other guy was like, I'm just here in a suit.
Well, even at one point during all of this, they're like, oh, there's a Sheik. Oh, wait, here's the other Sheik. And then Slick Johnson goes, who's watching the oil reserve? Because only...
And then that's where Slick Johnson goes, that's how you fucking do Tom Collins.
Suck my Johnson.
Who's watching the oil reserve?
That's how you do it, Tom Collins.
Oh my God.
Ghetto Blaster, I don't know if you picked up on it or not, Zane, hurt his shoulder on that monstrous power slam that he gave Dan Steele.
Really? Because it looks like he just beat the shit out of Dan Steele for 8 minutes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I wrote down, not Arnold Schwarzenegger's getting murdered.
Back to the ominous Steele family of wrestling.
Yeah.
Like his brother.
It's a family
getting
tradition.
the shit
We're
kicked
really
out
bad.
of him by large black men.
Yes. The Steele family taking on the Taylor family.
Yeah.
Taylor family wins on a walk. Andersons, Armstrongs, all of them are beating the shit out of the
other
Steels.
family
For sure.
over Steele.
This match...
The Mulkeys beat Steele.
Absolutely. This match also contains, I believe if my math is correct, the 5th of 7 low blows.
Sure does.
top rope DDT pin with no pin combination. Just all kinds of just offense that Ghetto Blaster wanted to get in on Dan Steele.
Yeah.
Just murdered him left.
Dan's like, all right, man, let's go home now. He's like,
And
brother.
Beats him up, and then all of a sudden, okay, now's your time to come back. And Dan, who'd been mercilessly destroyed, gets up like nothing happened and starts to make some sort of a comeback before then eventually losing.
Right.
And then is drugged and put through a freaking table.
Sort of. Sort of. He was definitely put through a table. But how he was put through a table.
He was sat on the table like a child almost, and then he kind of crunched him in this weird I pushed his head down, and that's what broke the table.
Just
it looked
dunked him. He dunked him.
That's what it was.
It looked like he was setting him up for the table. Looked like he was going to powerbomb him because Ghetto Blaster gets up on a chair, but there's no room for Dan Steele to get up on the chair. But it was almost like he was going to yoke him from the ground.
Right.
But he ended up just
pushing
him into the table, getting him up enough so he could then thrust his dick
He fucked him
and push him on the table. Which, hey, the DDT was invented on accident by Jake the Snake Roberts. He just slipped in the ring when he was wrestling Lynn Ditton, and that's how the DDT became a thing, and that's a very popular move. Maybe I'm just gonna throw this theory out there. I'm gonna spitball and say that maybe a young Joseph Ryan saw this, saw Ghetto Blaster use his very strong penis to push a man and put him through a table, thus giving him the inspiration to think that he could use a penis to flip somebody over in Japan. I'm just saying, I'm throwing it out there that maybe Ghetto Blaster's penis, maybe he was the originator of Dong Style.
Joey Ryan, we're on to you.
We're on to you. We had to see
you
what
out.
tapes you were watching. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
we saw Ghetto Blaster basically use his private crotchal region to put a man through a table. I'm just saying, that's a very popular thing right now. I'm thinking I know where Joey Ryan got the inspiration.
The godfather of dick moves, Ghetto Blaster.
Ghetto Blaster.
Well, his name does sound like a straight up porn. So it
Everyone's
sense.
name sounds like a porn in this show.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Steele. Hard Rock Hamilton.
Colt Steel.
Slick Johnson. Champagne being the homosexual of the group. Good for him.
Well, Champagne, male exotic dancer, is already. Maybe we've got some sort of, something else going on in this
Cross
show.
promotion.
Exactly. But moving on to a promo now with Will the Wisp, where Sheik Ubet is trying to buy his services, and all of a sudden he says no, and Primo Canera just jerks him up by one hand.
Yeah,
by the neck. That's a thing that movies would use harnesses for.
Yes.
And he's like, no, I got you. Boom.
Get that out of here. I got my hand.
He didn't really say no, though.
Yeah.
He just sat there. And they took it as a no.
I have a feeling this is about how Jeff's contract negotiations went with the last time he talked to the WWE. I imagine it went a little bit something like that.
What if he was just thinking about it? Give him time. It's a big decision.
And also too, from Mexico.
Right?
List from Mexico. Maybe there's a language barrier.
Yeah,
maybe he's trying to think of the proper word for yes.
I'm literally just sitting here, and now I'm up in the air on a wall.
Yes.
I did nothing.
He said well, and then he was dangling with his feet.
Yeah.
Very impressive by Primo Canera, for sure. And speaking of Primo Canera, leads us to match number 8.
Our main event.
Our main event, where Primo Canera brought to the ring by Sheik Ubet, taking on Hard Rock Hamilton, who has cut multiple promos throughout the show.
Yep.
Cut a promo with Ghetto Blaster and the Sheik, but now the Sheik is managing the guy he's going against.
Uh-huh.
And Hard Rock Hamilton, who looks like a guy in somebody's entourage, has an entourage.
A hell of an entourage.
What?
With bigger guys. He's not the biggest guy in the entourage.
Well, that's the rule of an entourage.
And he's 6'8" and 800 pounds.
That's the rule of an entourage. You always have to have a big big, strong guy in the background. And since Hard Rock Hamilton's so big, he has to have somebody bigger than himself.
It took a lot of time to find that guy.
And if you
It is a
notice,
rare man.
his shirt, the neck of that guy's shirt, and the sleeves of that guy's shirt were both ripped at the seams because he was too large for the shirt they gave him.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I have a feeling it comes now to our revealing my fan fiction of the show.
Please.
And how it all comes back around. And that's my theory on it. Because Hard Rock got an insane reaction from the crowd when he came out during this match. People went crazy. Mm-hmm. And if you notice, his music, very audible.
Yep.
I wrote it down.
The commentary, very audible.
Yep.
Where the whole rest of the show, you're struggling to hear it. People are going crazy. I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, that Hard Rock Hamilton is the director of this rec center, gave them the ability to come in. Sheik is the money behind this show.
Right.
So they're like, we have to make sure that Hard Rock Hamilton is taken care of because he's the one that let us run this show and this promotion. Hence why he's wrestling a guy who's wrestled on ECW and Primo Canera. Mm-hmm. So all the pieces are coming together. Sheik is now the money behind this. Hard Rock Hamilton is the promoter.
Hook for the building, yep.
Absolutely, and I think that's how we've all come back around to that.
Oh, wow.
And that's why this match is for the first ever Soul City Championship belt. So,
first time ever.
First time.
A crowning is going to occur.
Absolutely.
Is it still called a crowning? I don't know a lot about wrestling, but it is a belt.
It's the belt.
So, but you call it a crowning.
Absolutely.
Not like a belting.
And
that's completely different.
Because crownings are with crowns.
It just like the entourage that comes out with Hard Rock Hamilton makes me think, like, what's their backstory? Like, I feel like the bigger guy must be a guy that Hard Rock Hamilton works out with, like somebody who he's like one of his gym buddies, like a long lost buddy. And then like the shorter guy is probably like a guy that's like his like little brother, and he's mentoring him at the rec center.
Sure.
And then like the girl he comes out with is like, I don't know, like a girl he's kind of sweet on right now. But, like, he has a kid with somebody else. Right. But, like, he's dating this girl now. And, like, because she's more fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because. Like, I think that's kind of the dynamic of what's going on here. And then,
I can see that.
And I feel like Hard Rock is, like, really good. Like, he's a basketball coach at this rec center. And he let a lot of these kids in for free.
Right.
So, they're like, oh, it's Coach Hard Rock Hamilton. And, like, you know, he probably has had, like, 6 more matches in the rest of his lifetime, but he'd only wrestle like once every year. Mm-hmm. But every day at the rec center, I'm like, hey man, when are you gonna have another wrestling event? When are you have another wrestling event? When are you gonna defend your championship? I feel like that's the story of Hard Rock Hamilton. That's my favorite.
Sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah, I'd like to see someone argue that.
No, I've seen that story played out in multiple places and different nationalities, ethnicities, age groups. I've seen that scenario played out multiple times. Multiple times. But, like I said, magically the commentary sounds fantastic on this match.
The only time the sound works this entire show, and it's for him.
There was actually a good chunk before this of like 30 seconds of silence. Like actual silence. I was like, I don't know if my computer is broken or like what's happening.
So what are your thoughts on the match with Primo and Hard Rock? I mean, Primo is the one that was paid to make sure that Hard Rock has a good match. So, and the thing is, the last edition of How Did This Get Booked, Primo Canera was being led. Yeah. Now he's the one leading somebody.
Yes.
And I think he does a fantastic job.
He did great. The match wasn't bad.
No.
I mean, the match itself wasn't anything to write home about.
Well, especially since you saw the biggest bump in it in the preview video 3 times over. Yep. So all the high points of the match have already been replayed on a highlight video during the show.
Yeah.
So pretty anticlimactic that way.
I thought that the promo before with the Wisp was like a to be continued kind of thing, because it was kind of a cliffhanger. Yeah. Him being on the wall.
Hanging.
Never mentioned again. Nope. It was like, oh, okay, I guess we're done with that plot. I thought maybe it's an ongoing story.
Well, didn't you hear the director go cut? He said go.
I was like, we're going to get the Wisp, and he's going to be like on his team, and he's like going to bring it out. And
then he's going to be
I guess they just murdered him backstage.
Now we have this dead Mexican on our hands. Don't know what to do.
Exactly.
No. He's gone. Whatever. Anyways. We have Hard Rock Hamilton. Championship was won. Very big happy moment in the ring. End of the show. Promo with Lucifer.
Fat New Jack.
Yep. Is that
That's what I'm going
Fat
for.
New Jack.
Is that
Fat New Jack.
Sheik, you're gonna deliver. What are you gonna deliver?
Right.
Deliver what?
Right.
Like,
You told me you could deliver.
yeah.
Will you deliver? Like, just saying the word deliver over and over.
Souls to his dark army.
Because Soul City.
And he's
I came here
devil.
for souls.
Souls, but they have to be easy souls that I can
Right?
beat.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
want to, work for it.
If they could just give it to me.
And obviously the Sheik can't deliver a good landscaper because he's like rustling through leaves
Like,
just
really
to walk over.
terrible, like, on the side of the road.
Like the New Jersey Turnpike is just
Right.
over their shoulder. Like,
Like, go to a rest stop at least. You're just in the woods next to a highway.
yeah.
There's not a room in this armory you guys are at that
Right.
you could just kind of pop in for a second.
No, they got
Hard Rock doesn't have the keys to the kitchen or something you can't go into.
Yeah, like Hard Rock's got some keys.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
it
got a
seems
lot
like-
of keys.
Yeah, he's got a lot of keys on him.
Misfits could have cut their promo in like a broom closet and
Different sceneries.
yeah,
We had good
just switched it up.
locations.
But no, I'll buy that dumpster.
All right, any other thoughts on the show? Any other
I wrote down, are, rules not a thing anymore? Because at one point, it was just like a free-for-all. Everyone's like, I'll just do whatever. Here we go. It's like,
And no one really came to the aid of Hard Rock. Like,
Yeah.
where's Pez?
right?
Where he came
You
in,
helped
Pez?
me when I was dying.
Where are you?
No.
And then that
You know what? I think
huge-
he's got it.
that
He's fine.
huge bodyguard they had out there never came back into play either.
I don't know.
This huge bodyguard, hey, they're just watching. So, fuck it.
A lot of setups
Yeah.
and not a lot of follow-through.
lot of questions. Lot of questions.
Far more than answers.
The only thing we really know is how did this get booked? Obviously, Hard Rock Hamilton
Hard Rock
had
Hamilton.
ability,
Sheik, yeah.
and the Sheik you bet had the money. That is how this got booked.
This was like the Lost of wrestling shows.
There
All
was
these
a
things
polar
I want to
bear.
know, and no one's telling me.
Well, there would have been a polar bear, but Ice Train couldn't make it.
And the devil's involved somehow. I don't know.
It's a-
Turns
he's
out
the smoke
everybody's
monster,
dead.
There's a
yeah.
smoke
We've
monster.
all been
Yeah.
dead the entire time.
But anyways, if we don't have anything else, Jake, please be on open forum. Let people know what you're doing. If you want to
Okay.
plug anything. If people
Sure.
thought you're a funny guy, like, hey, I like this Jake Steward guy. I want to know more about what he's about.
Yeah, you can find me on the Twitters and the Instagrams at that Jake Steward, Facebook at Jake Steward Comedy. I do just a bunch of open mics around Charlotte, I guess. So Evening Muse, Smelly Cat, Crown Station doesn't exist anymore.
Well, now the station.
Oh, that's right. That's the
the station on
replacement.
Plaza Midwood.
Cut that crown.
There
It's
you
just the station.
The station.
Real hip.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Zane Riley, what do you got coming up shows wise?
Oh, real crappy shows.
This will be coming out
Fairs and
probably.
whatnot.
It'll be coming out probably in May sometime.
Sometime in May.
Yeah.
I got Steve Creno's PWF in Hubert and Camp Lejeune. PWX Wrestling in Gastonia, May 21st. A lot of places. Strawberry Festivals and Big Time Wrestling and Pro Wrestling Bushido in Georgetown, Georgia.
Well, where can people find out more about the dates?
You can find me on my Twitter at ZaneXCore and my Facebook at Zane Riley, because that's my name and I'm not original. And Instagram at IAW Zane Riley.
All right, and as always, if we mess something up, we miss something. If there's a correction, if you're actually Hard Rock Hamilton,
Yeah.
and you actually,
If you are Hard Rock Hamilton.
if you are Hard Rock Hamilton, and I got your life story correct, please contact
Let me
us.
know.
Yeah.
Let me know. Tweet me at ManScoutManning or email me at jake@sslshow.com. For more information about this podcast, make sure you log on to howdidthisgetbooked.com. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes, subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/ManScoutManning, or follow on SoundCloud, which is where 5 Minute Podcast is also available as well. So then that's available at soundcloud.com/ManScoutManning. This has been another edition of How Did This Get Booked?
Mm.